Hey, so recently I was talking to a person that I help quitting porn, and while I was getting to know his situation better, it appeared to me that he has a negative belief preventing him to make progress. And that negative belief was thinking that it takes so long to quit porn that he might even not be able to do that. And it really got me thinking, how long does it take to quit porn? And it kind of caught me by surprise because this was the first time that I heard this objection. And I started thinking, about myself, about my own journey and how I quit. Right now, I'm like 70 days sober from porn. And some people may say that it's too early to say that you quit entirely. But I know for sure that I've quit. I have zero doubts in my mind that I quit entirely. But first, let me tell you a little bit of a backstory about how I quit. I was trying to quit for almost 5 years. When I was 16, it was the first time when I got to know the bad aspects of using porn and how it affects your soul, your mind, your body. And I tried to quit. And I was successful. Like right off the bat, I was able to go on a 30-day streak. But it would never last. And it would continue for about 4 to 5 years. Now, the critical moment during those years, I would say, was right after the relapse. Like after the relapse, I would feel shame, I would feel guilt, I would feel depressed, but also I would feel anger. And I would say to myself that this time was the last time. Like I'm never going to relapse ever again. And I would relapse again, like over and over and over again. But something happened. Something happened 70 days ago that I knew that I quit. And I wasn't just saying that this was the last relapse, but I mean it. I somehow knew that this was the last time. And at that moment, 70 days ago, I think I've quit porn day. It took me one day to quit porn, but it took me 5 years to reach that day. And so what I can do as like a nofap coach is help you reach that day, that one impactful day where you just know that it was the last time. And after thinking a little bit, I've told just that the person that I was coaching, like, you can quit today. And a detail that I added is that you can quit today spiritually. So why was I so certain at that day after I woke up that it was the last time that I ever relapsed? Well, it was the time when I decided that enough is enough. And not only that, but I decided that I will do whatever it takes to stop and to quit. I will not rely on willpower, on ad blockers, but I'll research everything that I can. I learn from people who have gone through this journey. I'm going to implement those steps and I'm going to quit. And so I didn't say that I will not masturbate to porn again, but what I said is that I will not allow myself to be half-assing my efforts towards destroying my porn addiction. And I just knew that I had to do it right now. And to be able to say that and to mean it, would have to be, I would say, three conditions. So condition number one, you have to have a very strong reason. Now, I had a few reasons, but what prevented me from capitalizing on these reasons was that I wasn't really making it crystal clear why those reasons are important for me. So the first reason was kind of, I just don't want to do it because I think it's morally wrong. I dig a little bit deeper into it. Why it's morally wrong? Well, it's morally wrong because I downgrade the human body, I commit a sin towards it, and also my addiction adds up to the terrible things happening in the world, like human trafficking and so on and so forth. And so I knew that I want to become a virtuous man in the eyes of God. That was reason number one. Reason number two was understanding that I want to become a role model for my children, right? I can't bear the idea of my son entering the room and seeing me doing some weird stuff. How could I look him in the eyes, right? After making those reasons crystal clear for me, I saw that the pain of relapsing actually exceeds the pleasure of it. Now, condition number two, I have to understand that God doesn't want me to live in shame and guilt and depression. Like, he doesn't support me sinning, but at the same time, he doesn't want me staying in that sin. And here I'd like to quote Romans chapter 8, verse 1. Where is no therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Every negative belief about myself that I'm not worthy or that my addiction is too far gone is not coming from God, right? He wants me to rise above those feelings. And I understood that these thoughts are only put in my mind by the devil, who senses that I'm trying to break free, so he uses all his power to stop me. And so for so long, I was still stuck. But once I understood that these negative thoughts, come from evil, I was able to look at them from a third person's perspective and reject them. And the third condition is understanding that I'll have to put in the work. I cannot rely just on my willpower. right? In Philippians chapter 4, verse 14, Paul declares, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? So I don't rely just on my own strength, but I see God in these moments of weakness for him to help me and strengthen my soul. However, God will not just deliver me from porn, but he will allow me to exercise my own free will and turn away from evil, from porn, from lust myself. But I need to seek his help to do just that. And a lot of Christians think that praying and just asking for help will be sufficient. However, just like in book of Exodus, God's asked, why are you crying to me? Make the first step yourself. And so Moses had to stretch out his arm above the sea and hit the ground with a stick for it to separate. So what worked for me is to continue praying, but also doing the steps myself and showing God that I'm serious. Now, where might be cynics thinking that, what about physical addiction, right? Like we have our biology. And yeah, there are some truth to that. But what I experience is that my body followed my soul when I quit spiritually. Now, in terms of when your body will stop having those huge urges and temptations, well, it depends. It depends on how long you've been addicted. It depends on what kind of content you consumed. But I was addicted for 10 years. And honestly, just the first 2 weeks where I would experience any heavy urges. After those few weeks, I experienced maybe 2 urges that were kind of serious, but again, they came only in my weakest moments, when I would be tired or laying in bed, doom scrolling, things like that. But I knew what I needed to do in these moments because I prepared myself. I did my research, as I said, and I knew that as soon as I become aware that I have an urge, I had my game plan. I had my urge emergency protocol. And if you want to know more about it, you can join my free community in the description down below. So I would just do that thing, and those bodily cravings would just disappear in a few minutes. And now talking about mental addiction, like having lustful fantasies, like I think that's something that you will have to deal forever. You can quit porn yourself, but you're not going to live under a rock, right? You're going to see some provocative pictures, you're going to see this, you're going to see that, and you're going to get tempted, right? It's the devil like testing you from time to time. And the trick here that I found is to see my thoughts from the third person's perspective. And I only was able to achieve that when I allowed my mind to be bored. When I cut down on all the noise, social media, music. I haven't listened to a single song for 2 weeks. And when you are at peace of your mind, like no one's annoying you, right? You can start seeing what kind of thoughts are entering your mind. And then you can learn how to just open the door and let them go. Like my priest said, everybody gets those lustful thoughts. Question is, do you let them in? I hope you found this video helpful. If you're looking for a community of Christian men trying to become virtuous, join the free community in the description down below.